Mucho Amo Lifestyle Podcast. I'm here with Isac.
Yeah.
He's a global brand ambassador for Naked Malt.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe in a nutshell you can introduce yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Isac Melander, Swedish. Worked in the bar industry since many years. Joined Edrington as the ambassador for Naked in 2016. Yeah. So for the last 6 years, I've been doing the ambassador shit.
Amazing.
The dark side for 6 years.
The dark side. And yeah, so in these talks, I wanna talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, about mindset, how you build up a business maybe, and yeah, some questions for you, what you recommend, because I know we both are very fortunate to be in a position where we represent a brand on a global level, to work with the best bartenders in the world, but it's not given that you just by accident like walk into a brand and say, it's me.
Absolutely.
How was it for you to grow up? I mean,
For me, obviously, working in bars for a long time, I got introduced to the company more than 10 years ago. I did loads of events for them, and then I was lucky in one way that they were looking for an ambassador at that time. I had thought about it before, but I think for me it was also important that it was a brand that I could stand behind, because I think many people look at the ambassador job today and say it's a dream job, and you sign for any brand, and it's not. If you're gonna be a good ambassador, you need to be able to believe in the brand. So I think that's also don't just sign because it's a cool job.
And also the work before becoming a brand ambassador. You just had a talk today and you mentioned it, like you were cleaning dishes and that
100%,
stuff.
I started kitchen porter when I was 17, and then bar backing, and I did commis waiter for a while. So I've covered most of it. I never were a chef, which I sort of regret today.
Yes,
it would have been cool.
I think chefs are within the best bartenders I have met.
100%.
When it comes to flavors, comes to
and also
garnish.
like timings. When you work in the kitchen, you have to be 5 minutes.
Because you get all the pressure. So as a bartender, and especially if you're working in some better bars, often you skip all the dirt work. Which is important, I think.
Absolutely. I 100% believe it's important.
Also, what I wanted to ask you about, what do you think about traveling? Do you think, would you advise it for young bartenders to get out on the road and...
Yeah, it's a complex question, I believe, because due to our planet, we have to be careful. But at the same time, I believe if you should learn, you have to be there.
Yeah.
It's very hard to learn from. I think that's what we learned through the pandemic, during all these, trainings over online and It's not the same.
It is not the same if you smell
in real life, meeting that person, being able to, maybe a question pops up and you can just, fire it out. I think traveling is important to also. Not to only see better things, but sometimes to see bad things.
100%.
Because you learn from everything.
And you laid it out with the sustainability, actually, that it should be natural. I love that.
Yeah.
But also, if you want to start a business, what do you think? How you can make the link? Because you have to look on your profit, but then
absolutely. I think there's a few examples around the world when people actually it became sustainable because of the business part of it. Matt Wiley did a very good talk around this that I watched the other day, where it's actually we actually make more money if we source it locally, or it becomes cheaper, whatever. So I think sustainability should be part of our DNA, and if you do sustainability good, you will also, as a business, you will actually benefit from it.
Get recognized.
Also that, but also things tend to be cheaper if you source them locally. Instead of bringing
100%.
from around the world. So.
And as you traveled so much around the world, maybe you talked today in your talk a little bit about it on menus. If you have any advices because I think it's very interesting. We always talk about already established menus, but what would be your number one advices for someone who's starting his game?
That's Great question, I think, and I think that's really important. I think you should always make menus that you believe in yourself. Make a menu that you can be proud of. Start there. Who am I? What's my bar? What do I actually want to communicate?
Right.
If you start there, and then you build from that, and then I think you will create a great menu that you can be proud of. I think that's the key thing. Be
Love
proud
that.
of your own
Yes.
menu.
Yeah.
Don't try to be someone else,
Yeah.
because it will never work in the
Love
end.
that.
You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So I think that would be my advice to people that's writing their first menus.
Nice.
Get back to who you are and what you want to communicate.
I love that. I love
Right.
Also, how do you see, as you're from Sweden, how do you see the Nordic bar scene in the next years? Because
I mean, we have had a fantastic development the last few years. Going from, I mean, yeah, it's been great for a while, but
I think it's kind of started like when I touched Norway, I felt totally part of the how it leveled up. It was amazing. So what do you think about it? It's gonna be
100%. I mean, we had Himcook and Shogit being part of world's 50 best bars for a long time now, but we see bars like Lucy's Flower Shop and the Red House, or Röda Huset, as
Yeah.
it's called, a bar called Gemma, and sort of like reached the list last couple of years. And I think for Nordics as a market, we just need to keep bringing people, because the level we are at the moment is absolutely
yeah. And
amazing.
I see all the bars, they're quite humble, but in my opinion, if they would be as loud as the others, they would climb up. Like, and more awareness would be there. You know what what I mean? Because you see all the best bars.
Absolutely, and I think we're always going to have the problem in the Nordics that labor is very expensive. So I mean, in many other parts of the world, you can have people traveling the whole time and so on, which we can't really afford, because we can't afford the staff to cover the shifts. Really.
True.
But I do think we have the guys that runs these places. They've been around for a very long time. They know how the game works, and I see great potential for the Nordics in the future, because
Same here.
again, we have a country called Denmark, which is probably one of the most amazing food cities in the world, Copenhagen.
True.
And I mean,
True.
the bars there are fantastic, and they don't really get the recognition at the moment. So for Nordics, I think there's a great future as long as the boys keep working as hard as they've done for the last few years. So.
Not getting sloppy, but I don't think so. They're really on the.
It's not in our DNA to get
No,
sloppy.
exactly. Which brings me to another thing. How do you, because you travel so much, and I can relate to that, but how do you keep your mindset, how you keep your body on a level that you can perform? Because I feel, as you probably as well, maybe you have some tips for guys who are traveling a lot and who are getting exhausted.
Yeah, for sure. Be careful with alcohol. Alcohol is a devil. In many ways. I mean, I love it to bits.
It's a nerve toxic, so it's a devil.
I don't drink at home. Like that's
Same.
one of the things I don't do. I try to take care of my body more than ever, actually. And also, I think a good, just simple thing to do is every morning go out and walk for 30 minutes,
Nice.
clear your head,
breathe,
get some fresh air into your body. And also, it gives it's not really an exercise, but it's something, and also, when you're not working, do something else. Don't go to a bar when you have a day off.
Exactly.
Do something
have
else.
a balance and very good.
And also, I mean, in the end of the day, the most interesting bartenders is the ones that can talk about a lot of things. So
Love
also,
that.
follow the news, follow what's going on in the world. If you have some other things that interest you, study it a bit. Learn a bit more, because people, the more you know, the more interesting conversations you can have.
I think so.
You can relate to other things. So keep your head out of the industry from time to time.
Yeah, it sounds funny, but it is actually a point which when I lived in Oslo, I went at least once or twice a month to the opera. And it's great. And very often it clicked in the opera. I was like, fuck. Now I get like the DNA or this little link missing. I was like, fuck, that's it.
100%.
Yeah, also with opening my own places, when I was traveling around, that's where I get all the inspiration and everything from. So it's a very good
from
point.
everything, and especially like we're in Budapest now, which is
met
so,
accidentally, so funny.
And so much history in this city, and you just walk around and you're like, you can take it in.
It's amazing.
And you get inspired by it. So do other things. I think that's how you stay and take care of your body.
100%. So very, very, very good points. And I don't want to do it too long, but maybe you have when it comes to the entrepreneurship. You know, you started your own enterprises whatsoever.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite speakers, figures who you would say, guys, listen to that? I think so.
I think it's great. Like I think again, listen to people outside of our industry sometimes is very good. The big boys like fucking Steve Jobs, you know what I mean? Like people,
totally.
but in our industry, I think Remy Savage has always been a big inspiration for me. I think he's very clever in the way he thinks, and also looking, you know, his quote, making the box bigger.
Yes,
you know,
I love that one.
I love that quote.
That's to
cheers to Remy. So
Remy.
yeah, Remy, I'll stop it. There are many others that are great. But
No, thank you so much for
thanks,
taking the time.
No, I appreciate it.
Someone out there can only take one of the little advices. I think it always helps to build a better
100%.
bar industry.
I mean,
so
that's what we do. No?
that's
So,
sharing. So
yeah.
cool. To many more years
To many
in the
more
industry,
years.
and to all of you guys.
Salute.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.